Texans and the Bucks. Why don't we kick off with the Texans and the Bucks? And we'll start with you, Jay.
I've been all over this Tampa Bay Bucks team total over all year long. I think we hit it at about 70% this season, but I really think this week it could finally be an issue. We know that Mike Evans was out the last couple of weeks, and I didn't really have a problem still backing that team total over because Godwin was still there, O.J. Howard was there. Now they have no Mike Evans. They have no Godwin. So the question is, can Jameis Winston really count on Perryman to catch 3 touchdowns again this week? And my gut says no, Flash. The Texans have absolutely everything to play for. They haven't locked up the AFC South yet, and they need this game bad. They can clinch with a Tennessee loss, but NFL teams always like to handle their own business. And even though this game is on the road, I think it's a very winnable spot against a team that struggles on the defensive side of the football. The Bucks have the 30th ranked passing defense in the National Football League. So Deshaun Watson and those receivers really shouldn't have an issue exploiting that god-awful pass defense. So I have to take the Texans here. At this point in the year, I always try to back teams that have everything to play for. And I think it's a really good spot for the Texans to clinch the division against a depleted offense and a bad defense. So I'll lay the field goal here. Give me the Texans.
I'll bet you'll lay that field goal. I'm definitely on with the Texans. They started at giving up 1.5. Now they're giving up 3 at the Bucks. And the total's 50.5. Leave the total alone. Could be a shootout. Could go under. It's a toss of a coin. But the Texans, they will be hungry. Let's move on to the next game. And it's another game that everyone's going to be interested in from the AFC. The Bills plus 6.5 at the Patriots. The total's 37.5. And spread. Just give me a little bit of your thoughts on this game.
All right, so I'm going to take Buffalo. I'm going to take the points here. We had a close meeting when they came up and they played in Buffalo earlier this year. It was 16-10, so they would have covered the spread. But since then, I think that Buffalo has improved while I think that New England is still having problems. We're looking for a big defensive battle here, 2 of the best defenses in the NFL. We got 2 of the great cornerbacks in the NFL with Gilmore and Tre'Davious White. They'll both be able to lock down players. And I think Tre'Davious White becomes very important here because as Julian Edelman goes, so goes the New England Patriots offense. If Buffalo is able to put Tre'Davious White on him, take away Julian Edelman from Tom Brady without double teaming him, that's just too much defense over the field. Brady hasn't been able to get it done without going to Edelman this year. N'Keal Harry, I like him as a prospect coming out of Arizona State. Don't know if he's in tune with Brady yet. Still, obviously, this is a dangerous team. Going to be interesting to see in the playoffs. But I think 6.5 points is too much in this defensive battle that we're going to have Saturday.
Yeah, I think that Edelman may well just be a ghost on tomorrow. I think he'll be one of those, they might double team, they might try and block his little cuts and things like that. I said, New England's tight ends, they eat tomorrow. I think you miss them out and it's just going to go down the seams. I think that the Bills will be too hungry to get through the defensive line or the offensive line of the Patriots. And I think that it'll be screens and seams, Jay.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I have to back the Buffalo Bills in Foxborough at this price. Sunday night, Spread and I were in a video chat. The Bills were good to me. I went 5-0 on the game with props. So, like we've said it all year, Flash, this Patriots team is overrated. It's the first Patriots team since Brady's first Super Bowl that I really think this team has finally jumped the shark. They have an average offense, especially with a banged-up Julian Edelman. And this team has a good defense, but the perception this year is that they have the best defense in football because the numbers say so, but they don't. We know that the Bills' defense is solid. The Patriots should struggle to move the football like they did in the first game that they played earlier in the year. So what's changed coming into this game? And in my opinion, I agree with Spread. It's the Bills' offense. They're still an average offense, but Josh Allen has definitely progressed throughout the year. I like what I've seen from him, especially the last month. His reads are improving, and we already know that the kid can make all the necessary throws to win a game. It's just about putting the two together. And it appears that he's slowly getting there. You can get 6.5 at minus 105 right now, Bovada. I don't really buy half points in the NFL. Very rarely I consider it, but I think it's worth it here. You can buy the half point and get a touchdown at minus 120. And I think that they're a good enough team to play within a touchdown of the Patriots, even though the Pats have been a juggernaut at home for 20 years. I'm going to take a shot on the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, everything says that you're absolutely mad. December, Foxborough, but I've got to agree with you. I think it's just about the Patriots getting the W. And as long as they get the W, if you boys are on the Bills at 6.5 or pay for the touchdown, then I'm happy for you to win getting beat by 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. I really don't care as long as that Bills team do not get a W and the Texans win at the Bucks, because then that means the Texans will have home field and I'll be absolutely over the moon. Let's move on. Rams +7 at the 49ers. Total points a 44.5 spread.
I love the 49ers here. This is a great spot. You know, last week we talked about the Falcons, and we were worried about the backdoor cover. We didn't see it coming, but they were able to win it. Overall, it was a lit down spot for the Niners. They didn't have the energy coming off the big win against the Saints. They didn't take the Falcons seriously, almost like a rest week, I would assume, for preparation. We're not getting that this week. We will see a fully focused 49ers team ready to bounce back. And one thing that we do have a good handle on for the Rams is in analyzing Jared Goff and when he's going to do good and when he's going to do poorly. When will he do poorly? When he gets a lot of pressure. What do the 49ers love to do? Crumple that pocket, pressure the quarterback. Goff is not good under pressure. Perfect matchup for the Niners. Great motivational spot for the Niners. I like them to cover big here.
Jay, I got my little beady eye out on Jared Goff last week. Dodgy right thumb. You watch. He's not throwing the ball properly, and I was slaughtering him as if he was Eli Apple's twin.
I got to agree with the spread, Flash. Again, the Rams have fallen off a cliff since the Super Bowl. The entire world was on the Rams last week. I was more than happy to take the Cowboys and ruin everybody's day. Sure enough, the good version of the Cowboys show up. They destroy the Rams. It's tough to pinpoint exactly why this Rams team has turned into a complete shit show. I know it starts with Jared Goff and his bad quarterback play, but how bad that this Rams have looked on the defensive side of the football has been harder to figure out because they have good players. It seems like everybody can move the ball against that Rams defense right now. And I think it's a good team for the 49ers to play at home, coming off that heartbreaker against the Falcons. What a costly game for the 49ers. They go into last week's game as the number 1 seed in the NFC. They come out of the game as the 5 seed. The game means absolutely everything to the 49ers. They need to win these last 2 games in hopes of getting that number 1 seed back, if it's even possible. I have to look at the playoff picture. I think we see complete domination in the game. I think the 49ers should dominate both sides of the trenches. Spread's right. Goff cannot throw the ball well under pressure. Pocket should collapse every other play. So I think the advantage the 49ers have in the trenches on both sides of the football is going to go a long way to determining the winner of this game. They should be able to run the ball successfully, and that should open the passing lanes up for Jimmy G to get whatever he wants. If the Rams team that showed up against the boys shows up in San Francisco, they're going to get ran out of the stadium. So I took them first half -3.5 and full game -6.5 tomorrow night.
Yeah, I must admit I moved early on the 49ers. First thing Tuesday morning I was there. I think it was maybe 6.5. I think I might have just got the 6. I look at the Rams D and predictable pressure from Donald and his men. And the big thing was there's almost a signpost saying, we're coming off the edge, we're going to blitz down the middle. Everyone's either been waiting and they've been picked off. So, yeah, I'm with the 49ers all the way. Okay, Saints -3 at the Titans. The total's 50, Jay.
Yeah, out of all my looks this week, I probably like this one the least. But the total opens at 51. According to SBRodds.com, the best odds site in the business. And dropped to 49.5 in multiple spots. I think they should get over the hump, Flash. Similar to last week's Titans-Texans game, except the Saints have a better offense than both of them. I think that the Texans and the Titans could have easily put up another 10 to 14 points, if not for the mistakes and penalties. It's a little concerning how well the Saints defense has played, but Tennessee has been so dynamic on offense. I'm not sure any defense could fully slow them down. Both of the teams have everything to play for again, which is going to be a theme with me the last couple weeks of the year. And I'm not completely certain of the NFC playoff picture, but I think the Saints still have a shot at the number 1 seed. The Titans are currently the first team out right now, so they're still alive to grab a spot. The market's dropping this total, I think, because they saw the Saints shut down the Colts last week, and the Saints are an indoor team, and the game's outdoors this week. Barring bad weather, I think it's worth fading the market move here, and I'm going to take a shot on the over. I think both these teams could definitely get over that number.
Okay, let's move on to an absolutely garbage game with enormous consequences. The Cowboys -2 at the Eagles. The total's 46.5 spread. And Eagles, they've been gambling on this game for about the last 7 weeks.
They've both been looking forward to this game, it seems like. They both knew that this is what it's going to come down to the season for. And, boy, it's going to be great for us fans. And I'll tell you what, as a bettor, I'm excited to back the Philadelphia Eagles here. Really excited. The Cowboys had a huge win last week. I think that bodes well for us getting these points. And we had 3 points until the news that Dak Prescott missed his first practice in over a year due to a shoulder injury. I don't know how well that bodes for the chances. I know they're going to get Prescott out there no matter what, but if he's not 100% healthy, that's a big downgrade for the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Philadelphia Eagles have a strong defensive line that's going to be able to shut down Ezekiel Elliott. And Amari Cooper's been touch and go all year. Wouldn't surprise me if he didn't play as many snaps as we're used to seeing. He's kind of beat up as well. On the other side, we know the Philadelphia wide receivers have been beat up all year. But guess what? Carson Wentz is figuring out how to work around that. He's got 2 great tight ends in Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert who can get down the field, attack the fact that most of the linebackers on Dallas are more built to be run stoppers and not necessarily pass protection guys. I mean, Jalen Smith is good in pass protection. He's not excellent. And another injury concern for the Cowboys in that linebacker core, Leighton Vander Esch will be out with a stinger. So once again, another lack of depth there. I think that with Sean Lee coming off the bench and coming in as a reserve, that make the core really deep. Now they're kind of light again at linebacker. And where are the Eagles going to attack? They're going to attack those linebackers in the running game and in coverage. I think it's a great matchup. I think home field is huge here. That's going to be one of the wildest stadiums for a regular season game we've ever seen. I like the Philadelphia Eagles to win the NFC East here on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, if this was a college bowl game, they'd call it the Garbage Bowl, Jay.
Yeah, the problem in this game is that these are 2 of the most inconsistent football teams in the NFC all year. I have no idea what's going to happen in this game. My gut leans towards the Cowboys because if both teams are playing at their best, the Cowboys are a better football team. So my gut says I lean with the boys, but I'm staying far away from this game. I agree, Flash, because you have no idea what you're going to get from both teams. So it's a complete pass for me.
No, the only positive I can give to the Eagles fans and the Eagles supporters, if you like, just even if you're not a fan, is that they've been looking forward to this game for about 10 weeks. 10 weeks, they said it's going to come down to this game. Players have been half fit. No, we'll leave you alone. I wouldn't be surprised if all those injuries and questionables, they come back on Sunday and the Eagles put up a proper show. But I'll just be watching it because obviously the futures. Let's move on. Panthers +7 at the Colts. Total points of 46.5. And the Panthers, they're on their sun loungers, Jay, and they're having a nice bit of amber Soler and taking in the Rays.
Yeah, it's another pass for me. Jacoby Brissett looked god-awful Monday night when you and I did the show together. I mean, he was missing receivers by 5 yards.
Open receivers.
Wide open receivers.
Yeah, wide
right?
open.
So I can't back. I lean under because of what we've seen from both offenses lately. But again, it's another pass for me. I have on the side, no idea. I don't trust either quarterback. And total, I can't trust them to score points. So I would lean under.
Okay, spread. I'm going to come to you because I know you're going to have a play. I fancy you've got to be with the Colts. They're at home. They are the biggest homers in town.
Right, and we've used that as a theme all year, right? The Colts aren't very good on the road, and they're great at home. We got a great opportunity here. I don't think a team could look worse than they looked when we were watching Liveline on Monday night. You know, I was having fun with you guys in there. But, boy, it wasn't much of a game, and the whole nation saw that. I think that gave us about 3 points. I think if you threw that game out, this game could get close to minus 10 the way the Carolina Panthers have been looking. I think the firing of Coach Ron Rivera is already looking ahead to next season. I feel the players know that. And other than Christian McCaffrey, this team doesn't have a lot of weapons. We've got another situation here where teams looking towards the future, starting quarterback Will Grier, who I've heard, and the truth be told, I heard the same things about Drew Lock, and it wasn't the same. But the Will Grier didn't necessarily look good in practice, but they wanted to get the experience, see what they have in their investment. They got a big decision to make coming up with Cam Newton, so they got to find out what they have in Grier. But I think this Indianapolis defense is going to be a tough defense for them to go up against. I think we're getting value because the Colts looked so bad in primetime, and I'm taking the Colts to cover -7 here.
Yeah, I don't blame you, to be honest. Here's a game that I'm really hoping goes against the grain. The Chiefs are -6 at the Bears, and the total points are 44.5 spread.
Yeah, so I haven't made a play on this game. I lean the Bears, but the thing is, the Chiefs have such a big offense that I don't want to get in front of them in this situation. The Bears have a great defense, so obviously that mitigates it a tad. But I lean the Bears, but I can't pull the trigger because I'm just too scared of that explosive Chiefs offense.
Jay, can you pull the trigger?
I like the Chiefs here. The problem is the line opened at 4.5. It's now 6. It's hard for me to tell people to take the absolute worst of the number. But gun to my head, do I think the Chiefs cover the 6? I do, because of how bad Mitchell Trubisky is. And I think that they squeak over the total here, Flash. I know the Bears have a good defense. It's not the defense that they had last year, but it's still good. But the Kansas City Chiefs offense is just another level, man. I really like this game to probably squeak over the total because the Chiefs don't have a great defense. They're just inside the top 20. And the Bears should be able to find some success on the ground because the Chiefs' run defense is poor. So I think they probably cover the 6. I think it probably squeaks over.
Okay, well, let's hope the Bears cause a little mini upset. Remember, they are at home. Biggest game of the weekend, and there is a plenty big games, but it's the Packers getting 5.5. They were getting just the 4, but the Vikings money's come right in, and the total points are 46.5. And I'll come to you, Jay, but just to remind you, I'm on that 4.
I know you are. Now listen, I have not backed this team much this year, Flash. I'm taking your Green Bay Packers. You love them all year. I have to take them on Monday night. The Vikings are a good team. They've been higher in my power ratings all year than the Green Bay Packers. But I think that this line is absurd. Hear me out. The Vikings, they open up a 4.5-point favorite, or 4, you said. They're now 5.5. The second best player on the team after Diggs is out. Dalvin Cook is 90% to not play.
Yeah, he
His
won't
backup
play.
is out.
Yeah, he won't play.
He's out?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, right. He's the best running back in football to me, Flash, in my opinion, right? He's the engine of that offense. If he isn't playing, it's a big loss. Another reason why I have to back the Packers is because Kirk Cousins shrinks under the lights of primetime football games in front of a national audience. If you look at his numbers that he puts up, especially against the spread on normal 1 o'clock Sunday games, and then you look and see what he does in prime time, the difference is alarming. So if you're asking me to choose whether or not I'm going to take Kirk Cousins or an 11-3 Green Bay Packers team with Aaron Rodgers at the helm, and you're going to give me 5.5 points, it's a no-brainer. Sign me up. I'm taking the 5.5. And I might take a piece of the money line at plus 240. I think that it's a possible really good spot for a dog money line play.
Wow. Well, I go against the Packers. It's like me getting out of my seat to answer the door. I come back. Jay's sitting in it. He's got his feet up, slippers on, and the pipe. I'm going with the Vikings -4 and spread. I've gone over the 46.5 as well.
Yeah, I think this is a tough game. I think the books really got us here. When I analyze it, one thing, I like the Vikings at home. We know the Packers aren't that good on the road, and I think it's a great matchup. But 5.5 is just way too many points. I don't understand how this got past 3. So obviously people are heavy on the Vikings. People say that running backs don't matter. Well, I think Dalvin Cook is an exception to that rule. His yards after contact is unbelievable. Burst through the hole. It's just something that you can't really replace. Originally, I liked the Vikings. The number got away from us, and I think at this new number, plus 5.5, it's Green Bay or no play.
Okay, well, that wraps us up. I'll see you Monday night. I'll see you both Monday night. Can't wait. Great weekend. Saturday, 3 games. Big games on Sunday. I am going to be an absolute stamp collector. I'm going to sit in on that sofa, and I am not going to move unless I'm told to, obviously. You know, I'm only a mouse in my own house. Until Monday, boys, I'll see you soon, and may all your bets be winners.